Hello everybody and welcome to the Homesteads YouTube channel. Today we're going to be planting some Ozark everbearing strawberries, and I thought I would film this so you could follow along. So first of all, I'm going to explain some of the health benefits of strawberries. Strawberries, nutritional value, they're high in vitamin C and K and folate or vitamin B. They contain really significant amounts of those three vitamins, vitamins. And the mineral content is very high in potassium, manganese, and magnesium. So these are very healthy just when you take into account the vitamins and minerals, but they're also abundant in antioxidants and polyphenols. So there's quite a list of health benefits associated with strawberries, so I'm going to run through them real quick for you here. Improved heart function is probably the most important in my mind when it comes to health benefits, or maybe cancer prevention with the antioxidants. But it improves heart function by lowering LDL formation, which is the bad type of cholesterol. It also increases blood flow. That's going to be the magnesium that helps with that, which is going to reduce hypertension. And vitamin C is going to again lower some cholesterol, and it's going to help clear out some of the plaque in your arteries and vessels. So very good. Vitamin C is also great for anti-aging, contains really helpful for anti-aging stuff. And there's quite a list of things that it helps out with vision. With your eyes, it can actually prevent dry eye. It prevents optic nerve degeneration and macular degeneration. So as we age, those types of things are going to happen to all of us, and some strawberries can prevent that. And there's even evidence that strawberries can assist in infection prevention. So not that I'm suggesting you eat strawberries if you have pink eye, but strawberries are going to help you out in numerous ways with eye function and protection. Again, I already stated excuse me, that it prevents cancer. The antioxidants can help prevent cancer. They're going to boost your immunity with the vitamin C. There's some fat burning hormones contained in strawberries, so it's going to assist in weight loss. Reduces inflammation, actually increases bone density. Believe it or not, strawberries whiten your teeth, and they're low on the glycemic index. So people with type 1 diabetes, it's something very nutritional that they can continue to eat and not worry about their glucose levels or their blood sugar rising too high. It reduces blood clots, so it's going to help prevent stroke, and it has a high fiber content, so it's going to prevent constipation. So I had planned on planting the strawberries directly into the ground. I have over here, you can see some hay bales over there. I have a bunch of asparagus I've planted there in a good sunny open spot, but I thought instead I would build this 4x8 box. So I took 4 lengths of 2x6x12 that I had lying around, and I cut them to roughly 4x8 foot lengths. So maybe, they're 1.5 inches thick, maybe a little less than 4x8, but I put the 4 foot lengths on the outside of the box so I could get as much room in here as possible. And yeah, that's it. So in Simcoe County, where I live, every year they have a free compost giveaway, and I know that strawberries require a very specific soil type, but I thought that compost would probably provide everything that these guys need. So I filled this 3/4 of the way up with compost, and as you can see, I laid the hay out on top already. That's going to prevent evaporation, hot soil, moisture loss, all that kind of stuff, and eventually will break down and feed the strawberries. Another reason why I only filled it 3/4 of the way up is that to overwinter strawberries, you're going to have to bury them pretty deep in some mulch to prevent the roots from freezing and dying. So that gives me some room for that, and maybe the hay will have to be stacked up pretty high on top of them with some sticks across to prevent it from blowing away. But I'm pretty confident I should be able to overwinter these guys no problem in here. Okay, So now for the fun part, planting. So it's recommended that you keep strawberries about 18 inches apart. My box isn't quite big enough. I have 25 strawberry plants that I'm going to put into the ground. I actually purchased them at Walmart, and there was 10 plants in a package, and that was $5 a package. So I thought 15 bucks was a pretty good deal to eat some strawberries for a number of years. Anyways, so I'm going to do 4 rows of, sorry, 4 rows with about 6 in each row. So instead of 18 inches, it's going to be about 16 inches, give or take. But the reason why you want to space them out so much is that these Ozark Everbearing strawberries, they're really good at producing runners and strawberries simultaneously. So I want to space them out that far so that when they produce their runners, I'll cut them back to one a plant. And you can see I planted one here already. If this produces a runner, I'm going to just bend it around. It's going to touch the soil. In the old days, people used to use hairpins to pin them down to the soil, but I mean, you can use a little stone or anything like that. And once you're sure that they've rooted into the soil, then you're going to cut them off from the parent plant. Strawberries, Ozarks anyways, this variety, the runners generally don't produce the next year. They take a couple years to produce. So it's just going to be a little bit of time before these things are really producing heavily. And with the amount of runners these produce, I'm sure that they will give us tons and tons of strawberries. I'm sure this box will be overflowing by this time next year, or a couple weeks from now next year. So I planted these under lights to give them a head start. Basically, a couple of the rules that you want to follow that are pretty important when it comes to planting strawberries are you don't want to bury the crown completely. So this guy here, you can see, is not doing very well. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's one kind of little leaf left, and excuse me, it's yellowing along the edges. So I'm sure it's going to die off on me, which leaves me with 25 out of the 30. I think is a pretty good survival rate. But this one that's doing a little better, producing some leaves. The crown is about 1.5 to 2 inches. So I buried most of them about 1 inch deep, the crown. So the lower nodules are going to produce more roots, and the upper part is where the plant, the leaves come from. So if you bury them too deeply, they will succumb to rot, and you really don't want that. But yeah, it's a pretty simple thing, but I just thought I'd better mention it. It's very important. Usually here in Ontario, central Ontario, you don't want to plant before May 2-4 weekend has always kind of been the golden rule for planting here. But it's been 15 to 20 degrees now for like a week and a half, with maybe 2 nights approaching frost, like 1 or 2 degrees. 15 to 20, what's that, about 59, 60 degrees to 68, maybe 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's plenty warm for these things to survive. But again, you really don't want them to get any type of frost on them, because that's going to kill anything that they put out already, and it's going to reduce your harvest and potentially kill the plant entirely. So it's about 18 inches, give or take, there. So I'm just going to move the hay aside, dig a little hole. This is nice and moist, but after you plant, you really want to ensure that you water each plant. Very important. You want to reduce the stress on the plants as much as possible. I planted them in these decomposing pots, and while they will decompose, I don't want the roots to be bound up in here any longer than they have to be. So I'm just removing this gently, trying not to disturb any of the roots, trying not to destroy any of the roots. And a few of them have started to punch through, but so maybe I'll just leave. No, it's coming apart. I'll get as much of it off as I can without breaking too many of the roots. So there we go. In my case, since I've already pre-planted these, and I have the depth of the crown that I desire, or that's necessary really for the plant to survive, maybe I push it down a little bit and ensure the crown is exposed a little more. I just want to bury these so that the soil level is level with the plant soil that I already have in my hand. So just put it down in the ground. You want to give it a good push so that when it rains or you water, you're not exposing the roots, so the plant itself won't die. But yeah, that's really it right there. Pretty easy process, and I expect to be able to taste a few strawberries this year with the kids, and that's it. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're heavy into it already this year. I've got most of the vegetable stuff planted in the garden, and there's buds on all the trees and the berry bushes. Everything seems like it's going to start producing well. So thanks for tuning in. If you hit the like or subscribe button, I'd really appreciate that. And any questions or comments, feel free to leave those in the box below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.